I'm excited to be here with you this week on She Speaks, She Leads. And I want to speak about something that doesn't often get talked about enough, particularly when you start to really move with your visibility, with your speaking, whether you're facilitating, holding groups, etc. And the thing I want to talk about is your state, your energy, right? And the importance of not only getting yourself in state or getting your energy up there ready for the room, but it's the energy afterwards that I want to speak about. Now, if you have been in my world and have experienced speaking circles with me, you will know that I speak about pre-stage rituals and post-stage rituals and the importance of them. And this often is the thing that goes first, right? And it's often the very thing that we need to do more of. You see, a lot of the times when women come into my world, there is this fear of speaking up, the fear of using their voice, right? Or the fear of going to that next step around their visibility, whether that is being on live on a video, whether it's standing on a stage. And the thing that often doesn't get spoken enough about is the pre-work, the preparation. And I'm not talking about learning your lines, memorizing your talk. I'm talking about your state in terms of your nervous system. You see, I remember the time when I was asked to share my story in front of my colleagues and other senior managers. And I was quite excited about it because I knew the value that my story can give in terms of shifting perspectives, giving you insights, and also it was a way to position who I am and for people to connect more with who I am and what I'm a stand for. Now, when I got up on that stage and shared my story, I could literally feel and see the light bulbs going off in the audience. So I knew that the words and my story and everything that I was sharing was starting to change people's perspectives, give them new insights and new ideas. But what I wasn't ready for is in the break, when it was time for morning tea, having coffee, the people coming up to me and sharing how much my talk was inspiring, how much I gave them a new insight, a new idea. And what ended up happening is I didn't know how to receive that. My nervous system didn't know how to receive acknowledgements and celebrations. What ends up happening if we are not used to receiving acknowledgements and celebrations, it can actually shut down your entire nervous system. And it's exactly what ended up happening. I walked out of that room, I went to the bathroom and I went, contract. It didn't feel safe to be more visible. I just went, oh my goodness, I went too big. I boasted, right? I didn't know how to receive. And for a period of time, I started to shut down again my visibility. And I started to explore and wanted to get deeper to understand why that was the case. And what I came to realize is that I didn't actually get my body on board, my nervous system ready for that stage. You see, if you were to go out and run a marathon and you've never done it before, you could maybe make it out for a kilometre, maybe 2, depending on your fitness level. Hey, you might even get to 5 kilometres. But there is going to be a point where your body is not ready. It's not prepared. It hasn't done the repetitions, the practice. Your mindset is not going to be ready for the rhythm of a marathon. Right? It's going to, your thoughts, your emotions are going to start to take over. And maybe the equipment you're wearing, like your sneakers or your clothing and all of that, maybe your undies started riding up your bum, or or your shoes started to get really uncomfortable. You have to prepare, right? If you're going to go out there and run a marathon, you have to get your mind, your body and nervous system, and your equipment, right, ready for it. Well, the same applies for getting on stages and getting in rooms and the preparation. You see, we get so fixated on preparing to memorize our talk, to make sure it flows correctly, that we forget about having our body on board with the stage we're about to get on. And when I came to realize this, everything started to make sense for me. So now, before I get onto any stage, there are a series of rituals that I need to do to get myself in state, energetically supported in my own nervous system, so that I can be the best speaker, facilitator, and leader on that stage. Now, whether that is at a boardroom across a meeting, right? Or whether that is online and like doing the video like this. I did pre-stage rituals before I came here, right? Or whether it's taking a physical stage in front of a big audience. Now, the pre-stage rituals, there's a plethora, and I probably can guess that you've got a lot of that already. But the thing is, we don't see them as pre-stage rituals for the stage. So I want to give you an example of one of my clients that attended my Reclaim 2-day intensive. We were talking about getting ourselves ready for the stage. Now, a lot of the women there, they were getting on the stage pretty much straight away, right? It was all about building that muscle around our voice. And then I asked her to do something different. And she's a breathwork facilitator. So she facilitates and holds spaces around breathwork. And I said, what I want you to do is actually take us through a bit of a breath work, like 1 minute, a process. So I want to give you this scenario. First off, she came on, she did her talk, right? And I said, all right, we're going to redo the talk again. And then the third time I said, I want you now just to bring just a minute of breath work, like take us through a process. And as she took us through a process of her breath work, her voice started to get louder. And there's so many things out there on what you can do around increasing the volume of your voice. But I often say that these skill sets around increasing your volume or your melody or your pace and everything like that, they're all the external stuff. But until you feel safe in your nervous system and energetically and in a really great state to hold the stage, to deliver the message, these external skills will just fall away. They won't sit, they won't land, they won't be embodied. So for her and her voice, the breath work actually increased her volume and she was more present in her body, more embodied as a speaker. Now, moving forward, one of the things I suggested with her is to bring this in as part of her ritual before she comes on the stage, right? So actually doing the work for herself before she comes and does the facilitation of the breath work for others, right? Much like me, before I came here, I got my energetic state to a point of I'm energized, I'm connected, I know the message that I want to deliver here, right? Do I have key points in that? Yeah, I've got key points here and I've totally gone off key points. But what I want to, now I'm going to go back. What I want you to know is that As a speaker and a facilitator, there is a responsibility on you around the energy and the container you create in the space and in the room. Of course, there will be other people and other things that you cannot control, but the one thing you can control is how you show up. And a lot of the times, the reason why many women contract and stay safe and not step forward and be visible and get on video or be on the stages is because they have not created the safety in their nervous system first. And we do that through pre-stage rituals. This is just one thing of a plethora of things of what it takes to get ready for a stage. And unfortunately, a lot of the trainings out there talk about the external skills, and they have a place. Absolutely, they have a place. But when they feel integrated with a safe nervous system, that's when you become truly powerful, truly inspiring, truly impactful, truly embodied as a speaker and a leader. Now more than ever, you in your realness will be more valued than the polish of a script. Your energy and your state that you bring to a camera, to a stage, to a room is going to be more highly valued than making sure that you tick all the boxes, cross all the dots, tick all the boxes, right? Because people are able to get information and trainings out there. But what they won't be able to get is you, your energy, how you make them feel. This is just one of the principles and the things that we'll be going through in my upcoming program called Take the Stage. But the beauty is not just about the learning, about these pre-stage rituals. It's about finding the pre-stage rituals that are in alignment to who you are, to your energy, to what you need, based on where you are in your own visibility. When you can have your own pre-stage ritual, that becomes such a powerful tool that you're able to take on any opportunity or stages that come your way because you've got your process, right? And the way you apply your process is through practice, getting the repetitions, right? If I'm going to run that marathon, I'm going to practice every week. I'm going to build up my stamina. I'm going to build up the kilometers. I'm going to build up my nervous system to be able to hold the distance, right? And that stays true with stages as well, because the energy behind a camera versus the energy in a room of 6, 20, 100 requires different levels of your own energy, right? It also, the other layer is to think about how much depth you're going into the room. And what I mean by that is, I just delivered 2 full days live in a room with women going through deep transformation. And I'm talking about deep emotional transformation. And when I completed, I did my post-stage rituals, right? But what I found in my own journey is it's the few days after in my energy that required the replenishment even more, right? Because things come up, right? That you might be holding on to pieces and people and energies of the room, right? So when you start doing this, when you start bringing more of you to the stage, the embodied, all of who you are, right? You are going to start feeling other people's energies, right? Then there has to be a practice of acknowledging those energies and releasing them, letting them go, and being at peace that you have delivered the message, delivered the transformation, and trust that everything lands as it's meant to land. Because a lot of the times, what holds women back as well is, oh, what if I don't say it right? Or what if the message doesn't land properly? Right? How do I know that they're going to receive the insight or have that transformation? And so we sit in this swirl of doubt and holding back, but and the thing is, I want to acknowledge that all of this is real, because there's a part of you that goes, I want to be visible, I want to get on more stages, but I'm afraid, because what if my message doesn't land? What if the words come out the wrong way? What if I stuff up? So you send yourself into overwhelm up here, right? And then your nervous system is going, yeah, we agree. Yeah. The body's like, yep, we agree. Let's constrict. Let's tighten it up. So then you don't do anything with that. But imagine if you can find a way that you're not only shifting your thoughts and your emotions around how, but you're also getting your body in sync with that. And the body feels safe to fully be seen, to speak up, to go off script, to feel fully embodied in your brilliance, to deliver the message that is truly within you. How do you do that? How do you get the mind and the body working together to deliver something that deep within you, you're meant to be the vessel to deliver that? The way to do it is to do it, is to get the repetitions, to have the practice. But a lot of women are afraid to do that and afraid to do it on their own. And it's the reason why I created Take the Stage. This is my upcoming program I'm so excited to bring to life. I actually did it a few years ago with a cohort, and it was by far the most deeply transformational, going from scared silence to the stage. And it was about doing it together. I'm talking about going through the layers of fears together, clearing that out, creating the talk and the story together, right? Your story and talk, practicing together, getting the repetitions, right? Helping you amplify the best parts of you even more, finding your own style as a speaker on a stage. And then the final part, actually getting on a stage together. That's where it all starts to anchor and land. So I'm so excited. The first cohort starts in May this year. 6 women coming on this journey from, maybe you've done a bit of the stage, maybe you've done all the polishing, but you want to bring more of who you are to the stage, more of the authenticity, more of your muchness that you've been afraid to bring, right? Or maybe deep down, that you're meant to be on a stage, or that this is the next evolution of your own voice and visibility. But you're like, oh, where do I even begin? Well, this is a journey where I hold your hand together with the other women to pull out your story, to pull out your talk. And the end, we have a show night and invite your family and your friends and even people from the public. You'll get to get your nervous system on board and ready for the stage. Then be on the stage and deliver the talk and the story that's been living in you. I cannot wait. Like, this is so exciting for me. I've always wanted this for myself, to be able to, where I knew that, I know I'm meant for the stage, but how do I do this? I'm not up there, and it feels so far away, right? But deep down, and I know from all my learnings and all my times on the stage when my nervous system shut down, cracked open, when I stuffed up, when the words didn't come out, right? I went through that alone. And in all of that, what I came to realize is, imagine if I did this with a group of women where we did it together and it wouldn't feel so scary. And that final moment where you are celebrated and acknowledged and you are comfortable with receiving that to get your body on board and your nervous system ready for your next stage. Mm, delicious. So, if you want to know more about that, just reach out to me. It is by application as well. But here's what I want to leave you with. As a speaker and a facilitator, there is a responsibility on you to replenish and look after your instrument, right? Your instrument, your vessel, your nervous system, your voice, all of that. And so I want to invite you to explore how you do that for yourself. Because if you find yourself completely depleted after speaking and facilitating, that could also be a bit of a block for you in your next level of visibility, because the body keeps score, right? You've heard this, the body keeps score. If you intellectually like, I want more speaking opportunities, I want to be on more stages, but the body's like, hell no, every time you do, you feel depleted, you feel exhausted, you're out, you're out on the bed for the days. Then what ends up happening, there is a misalignment with the mind and the body. So I want to invite you to explore, what are your pre-stage rituals to get your body on board with the stage that you're speaking on? And what are you doing for your body and your instrument to replenish that energy, to rejuvenate, to restore it, to release what's no longer theirs to hold? Because one thing is for sure, the more and more you bring yourself to the stage, your energy, you're going to feel the energy of the room, which is powerful, right? And you want to be able to have a process that you can release any energies that are no longer yours, right? You might be holding on to beliefs, thoughts that maybe are not yours to hold on to. So that's it for this week. I hope you found this helpful. And I love to hear what really landed for you. So drop me a message wherever you are receiving this information. Mwah.